Beautiful.
Yeah, totally beautiful. Hi, Yesi. How are you today?
I'm so good.
Yeah.
It's not even noon here in California, so I'm
Yeah.
like still on like the morning grind. Yeah, how are
Yeah.
you?
I say it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood these days. This is what I default to. It is nice. It is nice. I actually went for a walk. Went to the dispensary, and
Good.
I was like, "Hey, I'm right next to my barber shop. Let's go over there."
Yeah, looking
And I
nice and
treated
cleaned
myself.
up.
Thank you.
You look
Thank you.
good.
Thank you very much. You can feel free to compliment me as much as you like, and I'll do the same. You look adorable today, Yezi. So good to be with you.
Thank you. I actually like put myself together to like because I was like, oh, I'm going on Dan's stream. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I'm thank you. You didn't have to do that for me. I'm just, it's just me. But hey, Yezi, we've invited you here in the spirit of building leftist unity, strength, and power. In the same spirit, thank you again for being willing to come on and share your stories, share some life tips. And then, of course, we got the questionnaire there towards the end, and we can also allow you to ask me any questions, and maybe if there are any questions from chat, you can feel free to keep your eyes on them, or we'll do that at the end. Is what I mean to say. So okay,
sounds good.
All right, let's get right to it. So what I'd love to do is actually before the where are they now, I just want to get right to just the small stuff. How do we know each other? I think it's because of Kenzo's show. We've had you on Pardon the Ignorance, and now it's Meet the Left. You're one half of the Hot Girl Agenda. We were just listening to your interview, your most recent interview that you posted, and it was hilarious and great. Yeah, I'm sad I didn't catch the whole thing. Oh, you dressed up for the chat, not me, Yesi? Oh, I get it. Okay, that makes more sense now. Okay, that's nice of you. Yeah, they're a tough bunch, but they're going to be very nice to you. Isn't that right, chat?
Nice.
Yeah,
be nice to me. I'm baby. Be nice.
All right, so we know each other because of Kenzo's show. Let's go ahead then and give you a little chance to give yourself the shout out. What's your story? What do you do? Where can people find you?
Yeah, totally. So my name's Yesi. My pronouns are they, them. Like Dan mentioned, I am half of the Hot Girl Agenda podcast, Hot Girl Agenda Pod with Rara Imler. I am also an organizer here in San Diego, California, where I'm based. I'm with San Diego DSA. I'm our Met Branch co-chair. You can find me personally online at Stolen Velour _. That's Stolen Velour _ on Twitter.
Awesome. You're based out of San Diego. You said San Diego?
San Diego, yeah.
I was just talking to Leftist Lorax. He's in San Diego. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. You're not a vet though, are you? Are you a left flank vet?
No, I'm not.
All right.
Nope.
So actually, let me make sure I pull up my questionnaire here. Perfect. How about we move on then? We could talk about where you are now. Any current projects, whether they're professionally, you can talk about that a little bit more, or be that leftist related. If you want to talk more about your work with the DSA or any other organizations that you work with. Yeah. What you want to dig into any of that? Tell us more about any of this. Love
totally. So, let's see. On the more professional front, I work in border rights and advocacy. So I work for an organization that called the Southern Border Communities Coalition that does a lot of really important work challenging the militarization of our southern border region. And right now we are working on just letting people know what's been going on in the southern border region. It is not a crisis like people are talking about in the media. It is a very different situation than what the media is showing you. We have tons of organizations on the ground that are supporting the migrants who are seeking safety right now. And we're just trying to make sure that everyone from, regular people who don't live in the borderlands to, the state understand that we don't need more militarization. We need things that revitalize our communities, not further militarize them. We need access to healthcare. We need access to green jobs. We need support for helping people with dignity and respecting their rights. So you can learn more about that at southernborder.org. As far as my personal organizing work goes, with DSA, we're getting ready for convention just like everybody else. Our leadership council is in full swing trying to figure out the logistics for getting our delegates together. And, our subcommittee for the convention is going to be presenting to all of our branches on how they can get involved. So it's super exciting that the convention is way more accessible this year since it'll be virtual.
Okay. Sorry, I was just saying. Okay, yeah. This is sort of like my first year in like DSA actually getting and trying to get involved. So I might ask more about that.
Yeah, totally. And then just finishing up my term as Metro branch chair and figuring out what to do next after that with the chapter. So that's what I'm working on.
That's fascinating. Let's talk more about your experience with organizing and being in a socialist organization. Yeah, I'm going to butcher the quote here, but I was just reading in my DSA the mailer that they just sent out. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, literally a day after I was complaining that my $5 didn't get me any emotes, they sent me like something in the mail, and I'm like, oh, sick. So I was reading it today, and Eugene Debs says, oh, I'm going to fuck it up. A socialist without an organization is a conundrum. It doesn't make sense, right? So you've been involved with DSA. It seems like for a while because you're a chair, and I'm assuming that just doesn't happen automatically.
You don't just get to walk in and then
So talk about that. How did you get? Like, why did you get involved in DSA? How did you find it? I went to a general chapter meeting just a couple weeks ago in Chicago, 350 people. It was a little too much for me. Maybe I need to like get involved in smaller meetings or figure out how I fit into the organization, and that might take some legwork. But I don't know. With that, what do you think? How did you get into the organization? What are you doing over there? What can people learn from you?
Yeah, so I joined DSA, I think in 2017. So I've been in for a little bit now. I've served in some national roles as well as local leadership roles in my chapter. In that time, I've served as delegate for a convention, the 2019 convention for my chapter. And the way that I got involved was just by showing up. I went to a branch meeting, or at that time it was just the chapter, and it was really overwhelming. But I stayed after and I just talked to someone, or I just like was like, hey, can I ask you about like what's going on? And folks are super nice. Folks are like super nice in the chapter and in the organization in general. So if you ask somebody, like they'll definitely help you out, I think.
Okay.
But it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Yeah. The whole Robert's Rules of Order and how the whole thing is run, and it felt like we were voting on things. I'm like, I'm voting on stuff I don't know what I'm doing. And I just, if I'm going to be a part of that organization, I want to make sure I'm informed, and it just feels like I'm starting from scratch in many ways.
And that's okay too. Like, I think going to working group meetings is way better because they're more informal and they're smaller. And folks will have more time to talk to you about the ins and outs. And that's how I got involved. I think I went to like a socialist feminist caucus meeting, and everybody was super nice there. And that's how I got planted into the organization a little, like got my feet wet, you know? And from there, I just was able to find my groove, find the things that mattered to me, join caucuses, join subcommittees, and it was really cool. I love DSA so much because of its multi-tendency nature, because of the willingness of everyone in the org to be experimental and to figure out new ways of doing things. And even when we disagree, we still have a common goal. And I think that that's really important.
Okay. Well, that gives me work and maybe some viewers out there. If you're a socialist, if you're a leftist, you're not in an organization, maybe this is the kick in the pants you need. I don't know. For me, I know that I want to be involved in DSA in one way or another. If I can't figure out the way to like be boots on the ground or sort of like a part of the front line or whatever, I'm happy giving them my $5 a month. I need to do that, and
Hell yeah.
and at the same time, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out a way to give back, give to leftism. I'm gonna figure out where I fit in. It's gonna take some work. I like this show. I need to do more of this.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. Thank you again for coming in. Hey.
Yeah, totally.
Let's keep plugging along. Then we've talked about what you're up to. Anything else that you wanted to inject into this "Where Are They Now" portion here?
I think that covers everything.
Yeah. Well, then we get to talk a little bit more then about your leftward bound journey, which does, I guess, pick up where we were chatting about the DSA. But I guess before then, or leading into that, or whatever, let's talk about your pathway to leftism. And you don't have to define your politics in any way if you don't want to. You're encouraged to. But feel free to talk about any aspects of political theory or any experiences that sort of convinced you along the way, or sort of pulled you left, or won over your heart and mind. Yeah. What can you talk about there?
Yeah. So my path is a little bit interesting. I grew up Catholic, and so I went to a Jesuit high school, and I learned about liberation theology, which for folks who don't know, it's like sort of the Jesuits' response to the imperialism that the U.S. was imposing on Latin America at the time, and it was sort of like saying that the idea of a just war would be one fighting imperialism. And defending the folks on the ground to their autonomy, right? And that's like a very abridged version of it, right? Like this is like following like Jesus or whatever, to defend against imperialism, because that's what Jesus would have done. I left the church when I went to college, and then I took a class on it was like part of my minor in political science was to take a class that was like an intro to Marxism.
Oh,
and that like completely changed my life. Just reading like Marx with a group of people and a professor who was not disparaging communism, who was not speaking poorly about the theory. So from there, I started getting involved in supporting union organizing on my campus, and I met some folks who were in the IWW. I joined the IWW when I was 19. And then from there, I just sort of became like more of an anarcho-communist and ANCOM, and I continued to organize in different ways. I've done organizing that's run the gamut from like more electoral based work, because I still think that, fighting for those material concessions to allow the workers to mobilize is important, to allow the proletariat to organize, is critical. But I've also done direct action work. I've done, mutual aid work. I have organized with folks across the political left, from more Marxist-Leninist communists to all the way like individualist anarchists who are like food not bombs only, which I have mad respect for. And that's sort of how I ended up at DSA, was because I knew so many people of varying stripes of the left working together. And at that point, I was so burnt out on like sectarianism, and not to say that doesn't exist in DSA, because obviously it does. But I think, again, like folks in DSA are way more willing to be dynamic and experimental, even as they hold true to their theoretical homes. And I think that leads to a spontaneity and a ingenuity that's critical in mass organizing today. So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up here.
Amazing. Well, that's good. That's lovely. Then we get to move on. Wow, we're making such good time. We'll have more time to chat. later. All right, so now that you've introduced us a little bit about what you do, what you're up to, and you do, excuse me, you are working down, you do border advocacy, and you were in the DSA. Talked a little bit about that. You are a co-chair? A co-chair?
Well, I guess I'm the only chair. I'm used to saying co-chair because we used to have two. Now it's just me.
Now, what does that actually mean? So that means you're sort of like leadership in your chapter?
Yeah. So like so we have the chapter itself, right? And I'm sure folks who are in larger DSA chapters will be familiar with this. But so we have the main chapter, right? It's like San Diego. And then you have like sections of it that sort of organize on a smaller capacity. Since our county is so big, it makes sense to sort of separate that way. So we have a North County branch, and then we have our metro, like central San Diego branch. I am the chair.
Geographically split up.
Yeah, because the issues are different. We have overarching issues, and then we have like smaller regional issues, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm in the chair of the metro branch. We are a brand new branch. Our North County branch is actually older than us. And part of my duties, I guess, is to facilitate our meetings and to kind of help connect people to where the work is, where the work that they want to do is in the branch, connect them to people who are organizing things that they want to be a part of. Also, I create original like programming for the branch. Like, so I'll have trainings, or I'll find people to make trainings, or what we call red talks, which are like presentations on like different topics, could be anywhere from like direct action or like, who was Eugene Debs, right? So we could do red talks on that. And yeah, it's mostly just making sure that chapter, like administrative chapter business is functioning, and that, or branch business, administrative branch business is functioning, and that folks are getting where they need to go.
That's fascinating. So it seems like you probably have a certain set of skills along the way that you felt led you to this place. I'm just sort of thinking about different people who could be like listening and be like, oh, maybe I could fit in something like that. I don't know, what types of skills led into this? Just regular human people skills, organizing skills. I think about organizing, and I feel overwhelmed at the idea. I'm like, I don't know how to talk to people. I'm very uncomfortable talking to people and getting them to do things that they don't necessarily want to do. But okay, but I don't know. What do you feel like? What skills played into this?
Yeah, so I would say that like it's not as bad as you think it is once you're doing it, first of all. So if you ever have an inclination to want to try to do leadership, you should, because it's not as bad as you think it is. I would say that it's good to be organized. Like, if you're kind of like a disorganized person, figure out ways to make sure that things make sense to you, that you're keeping track of your tasks. If you're a person who likes to, it's not so much leading in the sense of like standing at the head of the crowd. It's more like creating channels of engagement for people. So if you're a person who's really into helping people find what they need, which I am, then, chapter leadership or branch leadership might be a really great place for you, because that's the bulk of what you do. You're helping people find their groove. And, it's not so much like talking to massive crowds or like, things like that. It's more like just getting to know people and plugging them in. Real easy stuff.
So it's not sexy stuff, which is why you do the Hot Girl Agenda.
Indeed. You got to find that somewhere.
Love your face. Let's move along. All right. So now I think that gives us a little bit more to chew on and give us more of an insight. Let's sort of distill these experiences, your life experience. Feel free to give our audience advice from your life, from your professional, your education, from everything that you've come across it with, and also your sort of your leftist track as well. Yeah, what could we distill for our audience?
God damn, I'm such a dumbass that I don't know if I'm capable of giving advice, but based on my experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on my experience, if I had to say these are things that I think are really, really critical. Number one, I would say the power of being able to conduct a conversation, in particular, and you'll hear this a lot from a lot of different DSA members of all the different caucuses, is the one-on-one. If you can do a one-on-one, you can do anything. And that's just a very basic conversation about organizing that ends with an ask. It just ends with it's storytelling, it's very basic. Yeah. But if you can do that, that's going to unlock so much for you in your organizing work. So learn it, love it, live it, laugh it. No. Yeah, the one-on-one. The one-on-one is key. I would also say
so hold on. I'm so sorry. Just to help me understand, the one-on-one, which is you trying to pull someone left, is that the idea? And then hopefully get them engaged in some sort of action?
Yeah, but it's pretty formulaic. It's a very formulaic conversation that starts with an intro, you setting the scene with a problem, you involving that person in the solution, and then you having the call to action to solidify it, right? So it's
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems a little clunky.
It's not just you're whining about shit to people.
Mm-hmm.
you're
and there's part of that in
power.
there too. There's part of that in there too, but
it's the propaganda.
Yeah. So I would say learning that is critical. I would also say, let's see. I would also say that the other thing that's really important is organizing is a marathon, not a sprint. I think I meet a lot of really young organizers who want to do everything all at once, and then they get burnt out. We're not trying to carry everything all at once. We're trying to build a sustainable movement that can grow. And that takes time. The final key, I think that's really important, is make yourself replaceable. And I don't mean this in a gnarly way. I mean it more everyone should know an element of how to do the work that you're doing, so that if you need to take a break, if you want to step out, if you want to try something else, it's easy for someone else to pick up that work. So that's a key of being a good organizer, is making sure that other people can pick up the work. And those are the things that I would say.
That is excellent advice, Yesi. I love it. Thank you, comrade.
Of course.
So, oh my gosh, I feel guilty, when people just take their entire life and think about it and then give me really good material for content for our channel. So thank you. It's amazing. Let me know what I owe you for it. Amazing. Let's move on then. That means we get to move on to the we've done Be Best. That means we get to move on to the Leftist Inquisition, the questionnaire. Everyone loves it. No one hates it. It's the questionnaire. All right, so let's have some fun here. So the first question is, what's your favorite word, Yesi?
Oh, God, my favorite word, it has to be constellation. I say it way too much.
Constellation.
Constellation.
Stars, constellation?
Yeah, but I also use it to refer to organizing. So when you're part of an organization, it's not you a lot of people think of it as a singular unit, but really what it is a constellation. You've got different nodes of projects, and they're all connected either by a vision or shared drive, or in more material ways by collaborative work. So it's a constellation.
Yeah, it's like a prize, a constellation prize. Is that doesn't sound right. Do you have a least favorite word? You could skip any of these questions.
A least favorite word. God, I hate the word grub. I hate it.
Grub.
I hate it. I hate it. I don't like
in
it.
reference to a little earthworm type thing, or what?
In any capacity, any context, I hate it. Ugh.
Do you have a favorite drug or vice or a guilty pleasure?
Okay.
You can name one of each if you like.
I have so many. But I think the most recent one lately has been my COVID project was learning about wine, so I got real bougie with it. It was like drinking but fancy. So I started like a wine Instagram.
You did? That sounds great. A wine Instagram.
Yeah, and I just review different bottles of wine, and I like, go to do wine hauls and like pick up wine or whatever, and it's really fun. Yeah.
I got into cocktails, and then I started working behind the bar.
Hey.
I think that was my excuse to just drink a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, I like cocktails. I'm a cocktail guy. No,
yeah.
I like to drink. Do you have like like a noise or a sound that you love?
Yeah, actually. I actually was really excited about this question. Okay, this is really weird. But so imagine makeup containers inside of like either a purse or a bag, and then you hear the person who owns it like rustling around. That like soft plastic, almost muffled, but like ting 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 sound. I fucking love it. Like
were they clacking against each other in the bag?
Yeah. I'll let my kid like destroy my makeup because I love that sound. And I'm just like, whatever. Who care?
It's a special sound. It sounds like an expensive sound, really. Yeah, it destroys it, like breaks it up, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it's inside the case, so it's fine. It's just like, rustling around sound is like so good. Yeah. Every time I hear a siren, ACAB.
All right. Now the next question is a sound. No, we've talked about the sounds. We're talking now about reincarnation. Yeah. If you were able to come back as a different plant or obviously a different animal, you can't be a human. What would it be?
So I would probably be like, just based on like the kind of energy I have, I would probably be an alpaca. Yeah.
But not a llama?
Not a llama.
Well, like why?
Because my neck is too short. I'm tiny. Like, so I want to be like a fluffy little like pony type thing, but I don't want to be like, I don't want to lie.
I want to be a fluffy pony type thing. You're adorbs. Okay. Next is about, heaven and God. If one day you find out they actually exist, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at, whatever version of your pearly gates that you might end up at the end of your life? Yeah. What would you like to hear them say?
Oh my God. Like, let's turn up. I don't know. Hot girl summer. No, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. That one's hard. Yeah. I'm so like separated from like the idea of God at this point. I think God's other people. So if God was real, then I would just see like all of these people living their best lives and just like feeling good. And I think that for me would be it.
And that's beautiful stuff right there. So let's talk about some leftists. It says leftist hero. I might change the language down the road there, but name an influential leftist or someone important to you, and they could be dead or alive, someone that you'd love to be able to meet.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you know what? I'm going to have to say Lucy Parsons. Lucy Parsons.
Is that ringing a bell?
Yeah.
Help me out here.
Yeah. So she was the wife of Albert Parsons, who was one of the Haymarket martyrs. And she actually went on to do like amazing organizing. She was one of the founding members of the IWW. She was a huge labor organizer. She was an amazing writer, a speaker. A mom too. She was doing all this as a mom, which, I have a kid and that deeply like resonates with me. So I think I would love to just meet her and just, be like, hey, like you inspired me a lot, to keep going. And that's valuable. So thanks, dude.
Beautiful. So now, let's say you had the chance to meet them and tell them what you told me today. Maybe a little bit more about your life. Anything you feel like maybe you left out, that's fine. What do you think they'd think of you? What do you think they'd say?
Well,
Lucy
okay.
Parsons. Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy Parsons. So for folks who know Lucy Parsons and know me, I think first of all, Lucy Parsons would be a little bit of a hater on me because she was kind of a prude, and I'm very pro ho, so we would clash there. But I think. I think beyond that, I'd hope that she would be supportive of the fact that, by hook or by crook, I'm continuing to organize as a parent. And, that was something that was really important to her too. So I hope she'd be all right with it. And I don't mind, throwing hands over the hoe question because it's worth it.
Oh my gosh. Pro ho.
Pro ho.
Just to be clear, pro ho means... I don't want to assume what that means, Yesi.
Like I am pro sex workers, and I think that sex work is work, and I was a former sex worker, so it is important to me. Yeah.
Honestly, thank you for spelling that out. I'm certain there are a couple people out there that appreciated that.
Totally.
All right. So, all right. Yesi, it's beautiful to be with you, and we're still alive. We still get to set goals and evolve and change, and maybe reflecting on that. And if you had the chance to chat with Lucy Parsons again at the very end of your life, what would you love for Lucy Parsons to be able to think about you or say to you then?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think so. Again, like thinking about her trajectory, she organized all the way up until the end of her life, like until she was like hella old. And I hope that I'm doing the same. And so I hope that she's like, right on. It's good to see other, femmes of color continuing to organize until they're hella old. So, I mean, of course, she'll say it in an old timey way, right? Like an old timey Chicagoan way, but, I don't know what that is because I'm a current time Californian. So,
well, that does bring us to the end of my portion of the Leftist Inquisition. Yesi, thank you for sharing all of that. It's good to be able to get to know you and chat with you. This is what I consider the first round of our chat, and hopefully we could do round 2 and more down the road where we can have you on and maybe have some red chats, and you can show your based lefty side to my chat and help me and other new lefties along as we need mentorship and we need guidance and we need thoughtful, big-brained, big-heart people like you. So thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had so much fun.
Oh, great. So the best part is we still have some time left in terms of, how much time like I have left. I do have another interview in 30 minutes, but this is your chance now to ask me any questions, anything that's on your mind, concerns, questions. And if there's anything in chat, this is your, anyone in chat that wants to ask Yesi any questions, they will go ahead and peek at them, and Yesi, if you see anything you like, you can answer it. If you don't want to answer it, just ignore it. That's what I do. I just ignore it.
Well, I want to ask you, Dan, the same question. So who is a leftist that inspired you? Like,
Kenzo Shibata. I've recently been inspired by Big Dick Richard Wolff. He sort of blew my mind with the concept of labor exploitation and realizing that my entire life I've been stolen from.
Yeah.
Quite literally. And it's a fucking mind-blowing thing to realize. Another person who's been inspiring me is David Graeber.
I love Graeber. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. His bullshit jobs. It was just like the article version that I read. That was fantastic. And now I'm reading Debt. I'm taking a really long time. I don't read a lot. I'm not a based, well-read leftist. I became a Marxist by watching YouTube videos. And I'm literally here to prove that you can do that.
Get it where you can.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I got to dig in. I got to research more. I got to read more. I got to learn. I got to read theory. But more importantly, I've learned from my mentor. I consider Kenzo Shibata to be, a mentor to at least a degree. And the concepts that he learned from his mentor, the late Karen Lewis, of when taking any course of action, asking yourself, does this build unity? Does this build power? Does this build strength? And that's the spirit that I reached out to you, and the very idea behind this channel and this show, and the idea is I want to learn more and do more good things and less bad things. We had Kenzo on the other day to do a media training. Sort of blew my mind with a lot of different concepts.
So awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. But the more that I learn, the more that what I realize what I want is a stateless, moneyless society where people own the means of their own production and their labor's not being exploited. And I guess that's called communism. And I'm not sure why I brought that up, to be quite honest. But
that's cool.
I would realize that no, like Marx didn't invent communism. Fucking Lenin didn't do it. David Graeber, Wolf, like none of the. We got to think about our indigenous comrades out there that are just sort of like shaking our heads every time we're talking about Marx as if he fucking invented it.
Right.
And that's where I have room for growth, and I bet a lot of my chat does too, because they're on a similar journey as I am. I don't know. Cool. That's a lot there. I just answered a lot.
No, that's really awesome, and I think like it's really wise of you. It's really wise of you to kind of like frame it that way, and I think, I've read a bunch of Marx. Like I ended up doing my minor in political science on Marxist theory, and like specifically Marxist theory from a anti-colonial framework. So that means reading a lot of Fanon, reading a lot of Cesare, like that sort of thing. Cabral. And I think the really cool thing about Marxism, like thinking about Marxism as a theoretical place, a theoretical home, is that it builds upon itself. And so when folks, I don't know, when folks like reify any sort of component, like if you like say like, oh, this is the ultimate, then you're kind of like, that's the antithesis of like a Marxist approach, I think. Sure. That's one humble Marxist position. But yeah, I think that's really cool.
I'm a left baby. And it's by surrounding myself with people like Yesi, like Kenzo, that have sort of helped to learn perhaps, my place in whatever movement we have here. So I try to bring on people with a diverse set of voices, just not my own. I'm tired of hearing my own voice sometimes.
That's so good though.
Yeah. My voice? Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I love to sing. I guess I love my own voice, don't I?
Wait, you can sing?
Oh my gosh. Did you not know I used to be like a Johnny Cash tribute artist?
What? No, I did not know this.
I was a music teacher in Chicago. That's how I got to know Kenzo. When they when Rahm Emanuel shut down 50 schools in one fell swoop. I was a full-time high school music teacher in Chicago public schools at that time, and that's when I became aware of Kenzo. He was just sort of this Twitter god to me at the time, and years later we would go on to make the show that we do now, Meet the Left.
No, I've not heard dancing. I
love to sing.
Yeah. Oh man. Can you sing for us right now?
What do you want? Oh my gosh. So I do Johnny Cash. Just pick a Johnny Cash song and I'll just
do God. I don't know. Just do it. Just do one. I don't know. Your favorite one.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire. The ring of fire. Well, there's no reverb. I felt that in my
chest. Wow.
I love to sing. I love to sing.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for letting me show up.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm good at. You know what I mean? I'm like on stream being super vulnerable all day, being baby leftist, not knowing shit about shit. People in my chat are always like, Dan, no, you need to know this. They always call me out, and yeah, that's what I'm good at. I should do more of that. You're right.
Hell yeah, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you play other instruments? Like, besides singing, do you?
Just like a little guitar, a little ukulele, a little bit of piano and percussion, and but nothing, anything especially good. I'm mainly a singer. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love to sing. I've done it my whole life. I was like a choral musician.
Wow.
Okay. Any questions? Orange Blossom Special. Hey, no, we're not going to do that one. Hey, yonder coming down that railroad track. Hey, I can't remember the words. Okay. That's one. He's actually an especially good harmonica player. They'll call it the harp. He was actually really good. He would like have two harmonicas and like switch them off. It was amazing.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he was really cool. Any questions from chat for Yesi? And Yesi, we have plenty of time. I don't need to kick you off, but you're also, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Any questions for me? Anything you want to chat about? Anything else on your mind?
Let's see. Do you have any pets? I feel like I know this, but maybe I don't. Have we talked about this?
I have 2 cats.
2 cats!
I have 2 adorable cats. And one is Brewster, and he's our old boy, and he's so sweet. And then we have a young girl, Yoshimi, and she's a little terrorist, and she's really the star of the show. She's the star of this show. I'm surprised she hasn't taken over and ruined it in some way. But yeah, we have 2 kittens. I'm probably allergic to them, but they just improve my life so much that I don't give a fuck. I love them.
I feel that. How
about you? I saw your kitten in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, I have 3 cats.
3?
I know. Yeah, we have the oldest is Fanon, Nani. She's like 8. And then we have Lux, we call her Lux, and she's 3. And then we have the baby, who's barely going to be 1 in June, and her name is Vanzetti. We call her Zeddy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love the little fur babies.
Yeah.
They're so good. I literally can't imagine living without them. They terrorize us every single fucking day, but it's so worth it.
Oh, for sure.
I don't get it.
For sure.
They figured us out somehow. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, how about this? We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Again, we've invited you in the spirit of building leftist unity, strength, and power in the same spirit. Thank you very much for sharing your story, your life tips, and we got to know you a little bit. That was very nice.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. And, if anyone has any questions about organizing or how to get involved, my messages are open. I'm always down to help new folks get connected. So let me know.
That's great. All right, Yesi. Thank you so much. Love your face. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Bye.
Bye now. All right.
Bye.
All right. Oh, it's okay. That's okay. Nothing's really broken. It's not actually broken. Hey, YouTube. You're watching a clip from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/iDanSimpson, where you can follow for free and subscribe for only $5 a month. Thanks for watching.